Continuing on with the example, determine the probability that if a consumer has a credit card, they will not have a debit card. Now, this is where we want to be careful and read the problem very carefully. We know that we're looking for a probability. What's our condition? Well, determine the probability that if a consumer has a credit card, so there's our condition, they will not have a debit card, so no debit. Can we go back to the table and look for that? Well, certainly we could take a peek and see what we've got. So let's see. We're interested in only credit card. So go back up here, and that is 0.71. And no debit card. So credit card, remember, we're only interested in this column right here, and that's 0.18. So the probability that you have no debit card, but you do have a credit card on the top over the probability of just a credit card, and that's going to give us 0.254. Now you might have noticed, well, couldn't I have said, well, I already know the probability of debit given a credit card. We found that earlier. Could I use the complement rule? Yes, you can. But one caution, you have to make sure that the conditions are the same. Instead, I'll show you what I would do here. This, for me, this makes the most sense. You could have also said probability of no D given C is 1 minus the probability of D given C. Because you either have a debit or you don't have a debit card, and you're taking into account all possibilities of having or not having a debit card given that you have a credit card. I apologize, I realized that my screen just popped out for a moment. So we're talking about, we did first one here. Now we want to determine the probability that if a consumer does not have a credit card, they will not have a debit card. So no debit and credit card divided by the probability of no credit card. This is not the same condition as this, and that's where you want to be careful. And if I go to the table, and I would advise you to see if you can calculate this yourself. These are not the same because the conditions are different. So up to this point in the course, we've looked at different strategies to calculate to calculate probabilities using a large number of trials, then also listing out the sample space, a contingency table, and probability rules, Venn diagrams, and using probability rules. What we're moving on to next are probability trees.